Alright, mi gente, so it's September, which means that I owe y'all a reading update. So I use the Storygraph to track all of my reading. I don't use any other app outside of this one because I really love how it's stats based. I like the graphs, I like the buddy reads. There's a lot of functionality to the Storygraph that it makes my heart so happy, especially compared to Goodreads. I've stopped using that for many years now because one, the interface is poo-poo caca, and two, it's owned by Amazon. So yeah, as you can clearly see, I'm about 7 books behind on my reading goal, but I am ahead on my pages goal. These are goals I set at the beginning of 2023, and I'm not surprised that I'm behind because I hit a reading slump in the summer, mostly because my abuela died. But also, I'm a slow reader. Believe it or not, I'm a slow reader, and I'm only just now really getting into audiobooks, and I struggle with DNFing books. I only just started DNFing books. Most of the time I would just push through and just read the entire thing, even though I was not having a good time. And still, on average, I'll read close to 40% of the book before I DNF it and spend 16 days reading that book before I'm like, no quiero más. I had to stop doing that because I have too many books to get through. I have a lot of great arcs that people sent me. I have books for book clubs. I really had to do some soul searching, and now I am DNFing more. I will say I'm killing my audiobook goal. Granted, I set a very low bar for myself at the beginning of the year because, like I said, audiobooks is still something I'm getting into, but I'm killing it. Here's my little graph for the year, and yeah, it tracks with who I am and what my life usually looks like in the year. The beginning of the year starts out very strong. February still is the month where I read the most books, but it looks like May was the month that I read the most pages. And then we got the summer, where I was definitely just not in the mood to read, because I was still grieving. I mean, what do you mean? I'm still today grieving the loss of my abuela. Yeah, but I'm getting back into it, and I'm feeling the groove. Each book that I read, I review, so I have reviewed 29 books so far with an average of 3.77 stars. It looks like most of my books are 4-star reads, which is pretty on brand for me because it takes a lot for me to give something a 5-star review. And 4 is I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't like a total perfect book for me. And I'm not afraid to give lower star ratings, but I don't know. I always try to find some sort of positive that I like of a book, even if the entire thing wasn't for me. I always try to find the positive of something that did resonate. Very seldomly do I ever give something a flat out 1 star. But that's also because I know myself pretty well, and I don't pick up a book that I know I'm not going to enjoy. I don't hate read. I have way too many books that I genuinely like to hate read. So I've got 4 books with 5-star ratings. 2 of them are The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin and Messy Roots, a graphic memoir of a Wuhanese American by Laura Gao. And we have As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Katu and Imposter Syndrome and Other Confessions of Alejandra Kim by Patricia Park. And I would say out of these 4, my top pick is probably the Imposter Syndrome book by Patricia Park. There's so much nuance in that book, and it blew me away. It's a book that I'm like, man, I really want more of this author, more of this writing, more of this introspection in literature. And it is a YA book, so people who are out there bashing on YA really don't understand how complex those novels can be, as well as fun and enjoyable. There are a lot of content warnings with that book, so again, check them out on the Storygraph because they do that, which is awesome, before picking it up. So I'll check back in December and let y'all know if it's looking like I'm gonna make this goal or not, and if I don't, that's okay, because reading is supposed to be fun, not a competition.